Let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go. 6. It's beautiful. Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Those weekend vibes. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Friday, everybody. It is the 6th of June. Yes, 6th of June. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Rush Radio Android app, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, thank you so much for wanting to look at our ugly faces. But more than anything, just go ahead and give this channel a subscription. Like this video, start leaving your comments, and of course you can follow us on our social media channels, X, Facebook, and Instagram. Good morning, Mr. Ross Peterson.
What's up, buddy? I'm in a good mood again today.
Oh, you
told
are?
You. Remember, yes, the other day I was like, gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
Went to the golf course yesterday and did something pretty special, dude.
You hit a hole in one? Did you hit a hole in one yesterday?
I'm at Woodland Hills. It's a par 4, the number 6 hole. You got to hit it about 250 to get it over this creek. You got to hit it about 290 to get it to the green. What, Travis, I didn't hit a hole in one, but what I did, the guy in the clubhouse told me, this is rarer. He's more rare than a hole in one, what I did.
Wow.
And Travis, this is the second time I've done this on a golf course. So I step up to the par 4. Got to hit it about 250 to get it over the creek, right? And I lay into one.
Is this on a tee shot or is this your second shot?
Tee shot. It's tee shot.
So it's a short par 4.
Very important very important clarification there. It's on a tee shot. Also important clarification. My friend Nate Lee, he thinks he's Whiter Woods, so we have to play from the tips. Okay?
Oh.
Travis, my tee shot hit the tee marker for the white tees ahead of me and shattered the tee marker. Little golf ball, little plastic golf ball that they've got there to mark where you tee off.
So what you're saying is you had a really bad shot. A really bad shot.
One of the worst.
But it ended up being something very satisfying, because if you're going to have a bad shot, you're either going to throw your club, you're going to cuss, but you broke something and you're like, yes.
I was not like, yes. I was like, oh, no. I wasn't aiming there.
And being the good guy that you are, you went to the pro shop afterwards and said, hey, guys, I busted your tee box marker, didn't you?
Yeah. And the guy was like, you did what? I'm like, yeah, I was teeing off on 6. And I'm not very good. I hit my tee shot. I'm like, I'm with Whiter Woods back here. And teed off, and I'm not good. And I hit the tee marker, and it exploded.
Here's where I'm disappointed in you. This was a social media opportunity. And the fact that you didn't take pictures of said shattered
I don't know why, dude. Honestly, I don't know why I didn't think of that. Didn't think of that till just now. Maybe you know what? I'll text Nate and Ashley and see if they got. Maybe she did take a photo of it. This is the best part. There was a dude like 15 feet away. He was on the hole coming the other way. There's a green, right?
So you scared the crap out of him.
Dude, he gave me the golf clap. He turned around. He's like, it's impressive. Here's the most amazing part. I go into the clubhouse. I tell the guy that. He says, I've never heard of that.
And you said, well, hold my beer, because this is the second time that I've done it.
Last summer at Grand View, I was on 4, which is a par 3. I was using like a 7-iron. And I teed off and I hit the toad or the thing in front of me. I think we were at Grandview. I know we were at Grandview. But I didn't break that one. That one, I hit it and the ball shot straight up into the air. The funny one with that, Travis, is I was with my buddy Nate at that time too. Same guy, same dude I'm golfing with. And I don't golf with him a lot, like once a year. With that one, I hit it and it went, ba-bam! Like, did I hit the tee marker? He's like, yeah, I think so. Where'd your ball go? And about that time, it landed like 5 feet behind us.
It shot that far up in the air.
It was in the air forever. It hit the tee marker, shot straight up in the air, long enough for us to like, where's the ball? Bloop. 2 times. Two times. Why they call me 2 times.
And the fact that the pro in the pro shop said he's never heard of that happening is quite impressive. Meaning, you're in a rare club probably. No hole in one, but on Instagram now, I'm seeing these videos where people will line up like a bottle of wine, a bottle of beer, and they'll be at the tee box and they're trying to hit the bottle as they tee off. You might be good at that. You might, but 20 yards out, try to line it right into the bottle so you can hit the bottle over because you have that kind of aim.
No, I don't. No, that's the thing is I'm not aiming. And if you put a target out there, I'm not coming close to it. You'd be better off not telling me where the target is. That'd be a fun game.
Just line up and hit.
We've put a target.
We've
put a target somewhere out there, Ross. We laid a quarter. Try to get within 8 feet of the quarter.
You know who can find a target, don't you? Do you know who can find a target? Tyrese Haliburton can find a target.
Oh, dude.
Tyrese Haliburton is a guy that finds target after target when it matters the most. And this guy is Mr. Clutch. I don't know how many times he's done this during the playoffs now, but he hit a shot last night against Oklahoma City with 0.3 seconds to go in the game that proved to be the game winner for the Indiana Pacers. And this was an upset. They were a 10-point underdog heading into game 1 of the NBA Finals against Oklahoma City. They were down 15 points in the fourth quarter. They were down 15. And the Pacers do what the Pacers have done all playoffs long and find a way to win. And they've done it on the back of Tyrese Haliburton, who had 14 points last night, but just finds a way in the clutch to get it done. I'm going to throw a stat out to you there,
okay.
Ross. Tyrese Haliburton's shot with 0.3 seconds to go in the game last night was the latest game winner in an NBA final game since Michael Jordan in 1997 against the Utah Jazz in game 1.
That's the iconic. Wait, in game 1 you said?
In game 1 against the Jazz. That was according to the stats last night.
Wow.
Because I know you're thinking of the
I'm thinking of the iconic game, where he stands there. Yeah. But that one happened. There must have been a few more seconds left on the clock when he hit that because they're okay.
1997.
Tyler says it's the 5th time. I was going to say, is this the 4th or 5th time in this playoffs? But I can't remember if it was. Maybe it would have been 3. 5th time in the playoffs for a go ahead with 5 seconds or less, according to Tyler. I don't even, dude. He steps up. He's just one of those guys where when the lights are brightest type of guy. He's a Mr. Showtime. He is the new Mr. Clutch, as Rev says. Compares him to Robert Horry, Big Shot Bob.
There's a great shot when he hits the shot. Shaq is just sitting in his chair in almost disbelief because, these guys have been following the playoffs the whole way. And you just sit there and you go, the dude does it again. And you can't do anything about it. He creates space. He takes that little jab step inside, backs outside, just quick enough to make that little space. And you're like, how you're like, are you lucky? Well, there's luck involved with it a little bit, right? I mean, you don't, but man, you have to have unbelievable confidence in yourself. Your teammates have to have unbelievable confidence in yourself. And they wanted him to have the ball. And it was where I think Oklahoma City got thrown off on this, Ross. This was a rare coaching move in the NBA, or at least in the NBA games that I've watched. What usually happens because the NBA is weird. Oklahoma City has the ball. About 12 seconds to go, I think it was, when their shot went up. Indiana got the rebound. What normally happens in the NBA? You call a timeout so you get the ball at half court and you're able to draw up your play. Rick Carlisle did not call a timeout. They went like old school college, said beforehand in the previous timeout, they said, hey, if you miss the shot, get going. Because I think a lot of teams think you're gonna call that timeout, you're gonna set up your play, you're gonna get the ball at half court, and you're gonna play it that way. They just said rebound, go. And I think it took Oklahoma City by maybe a little bit of surprise, because normally teams would take a timeout there. You get the ball in Haliburton's hands, boom. And we talked about this earlier. Was it against the Cavs or was it against the Celtics? He's becoming must-watch television.
Your eyes are. I'm watching the clip again, and you don't take your eyes off him.
Is there any doubt when they get in the basketball that he's the guy that's going to shoot the basketball? There's no doubt about it.
Dude, I heard this the other day. Again, I feel like you and I talked about this. It goes back to that Michael Jordan Gatorade commercial, but I heard this the other day. Remember the old player played for the Miami Heat named Mike Miller? Mike Miller was with the Denver Nuggets when they brought in Nikola Jokic. And his story is that the first camp that they had, he went to the coach and said, hey, I don't know who that fat white kid is, but he's the best player on the planet. And like, what do you mean? He goes, when he gets the ball, everything slows down. He gets the ball, everything slows down. He starts to make everybody around him better. And Mike Miller says, some guys have got this thing about them. When they get the ball, the game slows down. The game's really fast for guys. The game's happening. Everybody's reacting really fast. And then some dude gets the ball and everything slows down. He was talking about Nikola Jokic. I think of Michael Jordan when you say something like that. But I think that this fits. He gets the ball. Your eyes are drawn to him. He's making magic happen on a pretty regular basis in huge moments.
That's the crazy thing about it. The moments are so big. Now, he does so much other during the game, but when it matters the most, you just make things happen. And you're like, okay, you do it once. Okay, you do it twice. You do it a third time?
5?
Then you do it a fourth time? And then you get to the NBA Finals, where the only time you led in the game is when you hit that shot. The only time.
If you're one of those people that because what were the odds for Indiana not to win this game? Their odds to win the series were ridiculous. Was it plus 3,000, something like that?
Was it that low? I didn't know.
Or was even higher than that?
I don't know. All I know is yesterday, because I don't really look at the futures that much. I know yesterday they were about a 9.5, 10-point underdog in game one. And I go back, and it's funny to watch, NBA prognosticators, which we are not NBA prognosticators. We're just people watching the game and making observations. But there were people out there. There's no way the Pacers are going to complete in this. This could be a sweep. The Oklahoma City's head and shoulders above everybody else. And, based on records, you'd be able to say that. But have you watched this Indiana team during the playoffs? Because they probably shouldn't have won their first round game series. They probably shouldn't have won. They shouldn't have beat Cleveland. They shouldn't have beaten the Knicks. They just keep finding a way to win.
Like this.
Yes.
Down 15 in the fourth quarter. They find ways to win. Travis, have you seen the shot chart for the Pacers last night? One shot that is not in the paint or beyond the 3-point arc. And it's Haliburton's last second jumper.
That's it. So the mid-range jumper is
literally the only shot that was taken that was not beyond the 3-point arc. Now, there are some that were counted as 2-pointers, but they were the line, the foot was on the line type of deal. The only mid-range jumper that was attempted by the Indiana Pacers last night that was not in the paint, in the circle, or at the 3-point line was Tyrese Haliburton's jumper.
I mean, because of Tyrese, I'm rooting for the Indiana Pacers and have been probably most of the NBA playoffs. But this is adding a different dynamic to it. And too bad you can't have an overall playoff MVP. I mean, you have the Eastern Conference MVP, then you have the NBA Finals MVP. I think if you look at just the overall finals or overall playoffs, you're like, how is it not Tyrese Haliburton?
I mean, listen, Siakam had a great finals, and when Haliburton didn't win the MVP, I was shocked. I was like, what? I didn't even realize Pascal Siakam had the finals he had until I went and pulled up the stats. I'm like, oh, he was a dude, because your eyes are drawn to Haliburton. Haliburton's hitting the big shots. And so there's probably still some of that local intrigue or connection or something that we have where it's Tyrese Haliburton. We've been watching this kid forever, man. Big fan. Yeah, go. Now, all that being said, here comes the cynic. I'm a huge fan. I hope that's understood. I'm really rooting for Tyrese Haliburton. I love it. When he hit that shot last night, that's awesome. He's running around the court. They still got, there was still half a second left or something like that, right?
0.3 seconds.
Who's the first person they show?
His dad. Because he's part of the storyline now.
I know. This is what I was complaining about. From the opening, from the minute it happened, this is what I was complaining about. It was crap. Now he's going to be part of the storyline. Now every time Tyrese hits the big shot, it's going to be like, how's his dad reacting? Take the camera off the court. Take the camera off the court for the guys that are having the emotional reaction and are about to pull off this. Take the camera off them. That's not the story. Show the dad. Why? Because it'll piss people off.
Do you think that's what it is? Because it will piss people off. Do you think
Travis? It's not that diluted. That's the wrong. It's not that concentrated. It's what's the story? You've been in that room, dude. You've been in that production room. Their focus is the story, right?
True. Absolutely.
And that's 100%. Why. So I'm not hating the players. I'm hating the game. I don't hate the producers for putting Tyrese Haliburton's dad out there. I hate the people that allowed Tyrese Haliburton's dad to come back into the arena so we could continue to make this the story. Because here's the pattern. We'll make this the story until we're sick of the story, and then we'll find ways to make it not the story. We will build it up to tear it down. But that's why as soon as it starts, I'm like, can we just not play the game? Let's just stop. Let's just not do the build him up, tear him down thing. And as soon as he hits the bucket, I mean, within seconds.
It's almost like, did they have a Haliburton dad cam? Like, this
of
camera
course
stays
they
on
did.
dad the entire time.
Of course, yes.
We're going to bring in one extra camera just to stay on dad.
Now, Travis, dude, you've been in these rooms. You've had that earpiece in your ear. You know that's what this was. All right, 7, we need you on Haliburton's dad. You know that's how that went down.
Hold shot. Go
to 7.
Take 7. Take 7.
I saw that last night. I was like, oh, God. Yay, Tyrese. Yay. That's awesome. Way to go. Sweet. Damn this public display system that we have to have. Can't enjoy a story, can't have news.
And it's like that good and bad, right? And what I mean by that is we talk about Tyrese Haliburton's dad and what he did against Milwaukee. But if the storyline was reversed, if it was a heartwarming story, I mean, they do that whether it's a polarizing story or a story that, oh my God, I'm going to be. This is going to sound heartless. Oh, Dad's battling cancer, and they go to him. I mean, think about what the city of Indianapolis has right now. You have Tyrese Haliburton, who is, he goes on McAfee a lot, and he's personable, he's funny, he has fun with fans, he has fun with teammates. Then you have Caitlin Clark, who is, and those two have developed a relationship. They support each other. It's like that city has a pretty good vibe going basketball right now, and you have maybe two of the most popular players in their respective sports and doing great things. It's crazy what the city of Indianapolis is right now. I mean, just basketball fever.
I see what you did there.
I didn't even mean to do it.
Maybe they did. Maybe they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be honest, Trav, I had not even thought about that, how it's concentrated there, how especially our Iowa State. I did see the thing with Caitlin when Haliburton hit the three and she was kind of like celebrating with him. That's really cool. I guess I hadn't really thought about how both of those. Here's why I hadn't thought about it. The Tyrese thing is still fresh and new. The Caitlin story has been this long, slow build and burn for the last year and a half. And for Caitlin specifically, several years.
True.
Tyrese went to the NBA, and not that he got lost in the shuffle by any stretch, but
no, he went to Indiana.
That's what it was. Thank you. I can. Where'd he go? There you go. He went to the NBA. He's a superstar, but he wasn't the superstar like Caitlin is. And now he's rising into that category. I mean, right now, if you were to say the most popular NBA players in the world, Tyrese Haliburton's name is going to be up there. And now that you're there, Travis, again, we've all seen he's got this. It's the skill set. That's the right way to say it, but it's something different. It's a quirkiness to the skill set. It's there's an oddity to it that I can't put my finger on. And I think that now that he is in the limelight, now that he's become Big Shot Bob and Mr. Showtime, Dr. Clutch, whatever name we're going to come up with for him. I hate to say like all you have to do is maintain it now, but what I'm saying is now when he does those quirky, funky highlights, it's going to get Dr. J style. This is going to be, this is the start of, because he's got the personality. So guys, people are going to love him or hate him. And he's got the skill set to keep doing stuff to keep him in the highlight reel and keep people going, wow, this dude's really good. He's going to be a superstar.
And we forget that Tyrese Haliburton, I believe, actually started his career in Sacramento. Remember, he was part of a trade.
Oh, really?
He did not start with the Pacers. Started with, and when they traded him, people are like, man, you're getting rid of Tyrese Haliburton. It's worked out for Tyrese. I don't know if it's worked out for Sacramento.
I don't remember him with Sacramento.
Because his buildup to stardom has been a slow buildup. The expectations of Tyrese Haliburton coming out of Iowa State were not massive.
Huh. Out of Oshkosh.
Wisconsin there, eh? Wisconsin. But again, what the Pacers have done and what Haliburton has done is start to build a new set of eyeballs for the NBA. Because it's not that we get tired of LeBron. It's not that we get tired of some of these guys, but it's just nice to see something new, something fresh, something electric.
Yes, you're nailing it there, Travis. So we do get sick of LeBron, but this is we need somebody to carry the torch. This is why we've John Morant and Anthony Edwards, and we're kind of looking around, waiting. Who's that next dude that's going to jump up and can carry the mantle and do it well? Anthony Edwards has, I don't know what, he seems to have the personality. He seems to have the skill set. But is Anthony Edwards, first of all, he's in Minnesota. Is he more of like an anti-hero? And I like him. I'm not saying is he, but does he, remember we talked about Barkley and his role in the Michael Jordan thing? He was the anti-hero.
And he embraced that. I'm not your role model.
Maybe that's a little bit of the dynamic. Because Haliburton, I don't think has any of the bad guy in him. Maybe I'm wrong.
No. Some people want that bad guy role. They'll embrace it, right? Draymond Green embraces that role.
Yeah.
Tyrese, like, I'm the good guy. I'm Hulk Hogan before I went Hollywood.
Some guys want to be the bad guy. Some girls want the bad guy. Shorty want a thug.
515-517-2303. That's the number to call. We're here till 8 o'clock today. Ross and I hanging out. We got those weekend vibes. Somebody put an over-under on the number of rabbit holes that we're going to go down today. And trust me, we don't plan rabbit holes. We don't plan them. They just kind of come up.
Yeah. I feel like we did one earlier with the set history at Woodland Hills Golf Course.
But it transitioned nicely into a half hour of Tyrese Haliburton talk. And so we were able to navigate the waters that is the Rush Radio Show. And it is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class. Yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Hey everybody, this is Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Willis Infinity. We got some great stuff going on this month. Right now, you can get up to $4,000 off on a new QX80 and enjoy 2.9% for 60 months. On top of that, this month, you can enjoy 1.9% out to 60 months, an additional $1,000 off of the new QX60. For more information, stop out at our showroom or visit us online at willisinfinity.com.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. We're here till 8 o'clock today. Happy Friday. Got those weekend vibes. What do you got going on this weekend, Ross?
This afternoon I'll be showing some condos. Got a buyer that wants to look at some investment properties, so we're going to be looking at some different condos and breaking down some financial spreadsheets. That'll be fun. Looking at reserve studies, things like that. Getting into it, man. Yeah.
You're getting all educated in business wise.
I will tell you this: that the condo, townhome, HOA world, that's been my biggest learning curve in this, because the truth is always somewhere in the middle, right? Where you start with, well, I would never want to live in an HOA.
Oh, I will never.
And there's a lot of people start in that position of like never, ever, 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 ever. And then there are people that are like, you know what? I grew up in a situation like that where I understand it's not that big of a deal. It's kind of nice. You got some rules and regulations that keep the neighborhood in check. I don't have to do all the maintenance on my house. I'm not responsible for all this stuff. I share this big responsibility with a lot of people, and it makes a lot of sense. Again, for some people, it makes a lot of sense. And I've learned that truth is, if somebody says, it's that old thing, tell me, are HOAs good or bad?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Is Donald Trump good or bad?
Yes.
Is Elon Musk? You got to pick. They're fighting. You got to pick. Which side are you on? Yes. Both. Neither. All.
Coin.
Yeah, right.
Heads or tails.
Yeah. That's how it is.
Mary flew home last night, so I had to pick up Mary about midnight at the airport last night. So I'm running on low fuel this morning. I'm getting to the age where I need my beauty sleep. And, normally I'm in bed like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Yeah, I stayed up last night. I had to go to the airport, pick up Mary, and she was late anyway. She was coming in from New Orleans, and she got to the gate in Chicago just as they were closing the door. People behind her were in wheelchairs. They didn't wait for them. They closed the door on the people on the wheelchairs because Mary had the ability to run. She got there right when the door was closing. She's like, wait. Because she would have got stranded in Chicago.
Have you ever had that happen? I don't think I've never missed a flight.
I've missed a flight before because my connector didn't get in time.
Okay.
The last time it happened to me, and there's two airports I refuse to fly out of, Dallas, Fort Worth. So I refuse to fly American Airlines anymore, just because you always seem to have to go through Dallas, Fort Worth. All my bad travel experiences in the United States have been in the Dallas, Fort Worth airport, and then Charles de Gaulle in Paris. Charles de Gaulle, I've had a bad experience every time I fly in and out of Paris. So if I'm going to Italy or overseas and it says you have to go through Charles de Gaulle, I will purposely look for a different flight just to go through Amsterdam. I'm like, I'll go through Amsterdam. I know Schiphol well. I've never had a bad experience. But the last time they waited for us, this was nice because maybe it was because of an international flight, but Delta waited for us because they knew there were people on that flight getting back. And they got on the horn and said, hey, we're going to be late. We hate to do this to you, but there was an international flight that came in. They got to get through customs. If you can wait an extra 20 minutes, and we're the last ones on the plane, and everybody's looking at you like you're the problem. I'm like, thank you for, I'm thanking everybody going down the aisle. I'm sorry. Thank you. But I've never missed a flight like that where they're shutting the door on me.
So I am planning on coming over tomorrow for the graduation party. What time's the festivities kicking off?
3 o'clock.
Then I won't be able to make it because I got to be at Prairie Meadows at 5:30.
Yeah, it does. It starts at 3.
Yeah, so I'm out. Looks like I'm golfing tomorrow then, baby.
Look at you. I just freed up your weekend. I just saved you 4 hours. That's how
I got to be Prairie Meadows tomorrow night for the Scarlet Celebration. We're inducting people into the East High Hall of Fame and the East High Athletic Hall of Fame. First time that we've done the Athletic Hall of Fame at the Scarlet Celebration. It's always been like the Hall of Fame induction. The people that have, done a lot of stuff with their life. This is now that we're going back and doing the Athletic Hall of Fame.
So there's been some really good athletes come through East. Who are the inductees of this year's Athletic Hall of Fame?
One of them this year. In fact, that you're asking me. Let me actually get the information here because I have.
Are you emceeing this tomorrow night? By the way?
Yeah. My buddy Danger from 97.3. I got to be careful. I don't want to. I call him something else, but he's Danger from 97.3.
Danger's not his real name.
His name is not. It's actually, and it says on the program, so I guess I can say it. But my buddy Andy, who has been my friend since high school. We graduated from East together. He was our class president in 96. So he and I have been hosting this thing for a while. Oh boy, here we go. Alan Ashby. The people that are being inducted this year into the Athletic Hall of Fame are Coach Brian Luft, who was a baseball coach for a little over a decade at East High. A guy by the name of Tom Hand, who was a wrestling coach at East High for about 15 years. And the really fascinating one is a gentleman by the name of Alan Ashby, graduated from East High in 1925. He was the very first state champion in the state of Iowa in tennis in 1925. Black kid. Ended up starting a club in Des Moines for black kids to learn how to play tennis. So quite a story. That's the one that I saw. His thing was like, that is super duper cool.
So I'm going to assume this is a posthumous award.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if I've got, because I have his little bio thing down in my car. And what they sent me doesn't have what I was hoping it had. So sorry. I wish I could tell you more about Mr. Ashby besides those little details that I remember.
So you're going to be at Prairie Meadows. Is it always at Prairie Meadows?
Has been for a couple years, because I remember the first couple years that we emceed it, it was at the Community Choice Credit Union Convention Center up on, the old vets.
Yep.
The old
vets.
Yeah.
You mentioned Danger or Andy, and you take on that persona of Danger. This is why you have to watch the Pee Wee Herman documentary, is because Paul Rubens takes on this personality of Pee Wee Herman, and it got to the point where, what I didn't know, the lead up of Pee Wee Herman, he was a regular on the late night with David Letterman. As Letterman was starting to take off, he was on Letterman before he actually got really big.
Oh, he's like a character on Letterman?
So Letterman had him on every 2 months. Every 2 months he was coming on and and he said him and Letterman just kind of hit it off.
Now, would he be like a guest on Letterman?
He would be a guest on Letterman. And when you watch it, you think that Dave's annoyed, but he's not. He's actually having fun with him. And so, because he was doing like a late night, he always wanted to get on talk shows. And he got on like this one at like 1 a.m. on CNN, right? And he's like, if I could just get ready for a real talk show. Then he got on Letterman. And then his career started taking off. I didn't know. So Pee-wee's Big Adventure was his first movie, right? Do you know who directed that movie?
No.
It was the first ever feature film directed by Tim Burton.
Oh, duh. I didn't know that.
And now I'm giving you a lot of information that you would have learned here, but here's what happened. They got him in there. They're like, I'm not going to ruin it for you. It's not, because it's more about the way he's talking to the camera and stuff. But he for as goofy as he was a control freak, which is kind of normal for people in that situation. Like they came to him and said, Warner Brothers said, here's your director. He goes, no, that's not my director. he calls Shelley Duvall and says, who should direct this? And she goes, oh, there's this really quirky guy named Tim Burton. Tim Burton was 27 years old when he first directed that feature film. And he always thought, and if you go back and watch a lot of Pee-wee's Playhouse, which I haven't, but there's a lot of innuendo in there. There's a lot of innuendo.
Yes. Even as a kid, I knew that.
Yes. And the stars that were part of his show, because he goes, I never envisioned doing a children's show, but I did. I didn't know Lawrence Fishburne was a part of Pee-wee's Playhouse. And you're like, Lawrence Fishburne is dressing up as a cowboy. He was the cowboy. And you're like, wow. So I'm just telling you, log into Max and start watching it because it's fascinating. Now, there's a couple episodes. First episode was like an hour and a half. The dude shot 40 hours worth of interview. 40 hours. And Pee-wee's Playhouse, I mean, I was not a Pee-wee Herman guy.
You were too old for it. Yeah.
Well, even Lawrence Fishburne said, he goes, I went down to watch him at like one of his theater shows. He goes, I didn't get it. He goes, there are people who are loving it, got standing ovations. He goes, I'm sitting there going, this guy's throwing Tootsie Rolls at people, and I just don't get it. And I think you have to have a certain mindset to get it. Pretty eccentric. But lo and behold, Lawrence Fishburne ends up on Pee-wee's Playhouse playing a cowboy.
I had to look up Shelley Duvall.
You know who Shelley Duvall is.
No, I didn't. I do now. She's the lady from The Shining.
Yeah.
What else has she done?
But wasn't she also in Popeye, which was one of the worst movies ever made?
Okay, so I'm going to ask you again. What has Shelley Duvall done? I'm not trying to diminish her career. I don't want to be. She's a famous actress.
Probably most famous for The Shining.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do I say this? Why do I know the name? I don't know actresses. When you said Shelley Duvall, I knew that was an actress, but then I looked her up and I'm like, I know that lady from one movie, from one thing. She's a one-hit wonder. Why is Shelley Duvall so famous? Because of, and really, is it because of one scene? Two scenes?
Maybe.
Like, I don't know anything else this lady was in. Popeye with Robin Williams?
With Robin Williams. I think that was right after The Shining. And again, one of the worst movies ever made.
She did. Now there's your award. That's why she's so famous. In 1 year, she did The Shining and Popeye. That's called range. Is she dead? Oh, yeah. Died in 2024. Died last July. Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that.
That's weird. She only did 2 movies that she was ever known for. They were both shot at the exact same time. And they're completely opposite movies.
And one was like a Stanley Kubrick Academy Award winner. The other was...
It's Popeye.
It's Popeye.
With Robin Williams.
With these inflated arms.
All right. So Corey says there was a Shelley Duvall TikTok challenge.
I'm not on TikTok, so I don't know. Are you on TikTok? Are you on the TikTok?
No, I've thought about it though. I've had buddies say like there's some really good stuff on there. It really is. You just got to be, don't mess with the algorithm.
I don't have time to devote. I mean, I have a hard enough time. If you were to get on my phone right now, I've managed like 6 different X accounts.
Yeah,
I do our business one. I manage like 5 different Facebook accounts. If you throw, and at least Instagram and Facebook are connected. If you throw TikTok on there, man, it's going to throw me way off. That one's for the kiddos. I'll let the kiddos have TikTok. I'll stick to the old man stuff.
I did have a little bit of a weird rabbit hole that I went down yesterday on the golf course that made me think of you.
Okay.
Okay, because I'll just tell you with the punchline, and then I'll tell you how I got to the punchline, okay? 38 Special is a better band than Barry Manilow ever was. 38 Special has more hit songs than Barry Manilow.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, fact. Here's what happened. A 38 Special song comes on the golf cart, right? I don't remember which one it was.
Hold on loosely replay?
Sure. Hold on loosely, we'll say. And my buddy Nate is like, man, is 38 Special a one-hit wonder? Is Hold On Loosely the only 38 Special song? Like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know what their other songs are, but I think 38 Special has a couple of songs that were hits. So we looked them up, and sure enough, man, they got some 80s bangers. I'm so caught up in you, little girl. Yeah, right? So Back Where You Belong. I want you back where you belong. Ba-na-na-na-na. Like, they got some bangers. And as 38 Specials playing through, we're realizing, like, we might be 38 Special fans. I might need a 38 Special t-shirt. I
had a 38 Special t-shirt growing up in like 1983.
They're going to be in Iowa. I mean, it's almost a guarantee within the next 6 months they'll be playing in Iowa somewhere. We should become 38 Special groupies. And that's when it all hit me. Barry Manilow has one song.
No. Barry Manilow has Mandy. He has the Copacabana. He has I Write the Songs. I Write the Songs is that's gold. I write the songs that make the whole world sing. Yeah. I write the songs.
I didn't think that song could be worse. And that was
You're mean. I've seen both Barry Manilow and 38 Special in concert, and I'll take the Barry Manilow concert any day of the week. So where was I the punchline? Where did I come up in this conversation?
because I knew that you liked Barry Manilow. And I thought in my head, I can't wait to break this news to Travis that 38 Special is better than Barry Manilow. Somebody needs to tell him. And I get to be the one. I get to be the one that tells Travis, hey, by the way, 38 Special, more bangers than Barry Manilow. Oh, and Tyler wants to know, how was the MCL concert? Weather was good for you?
The rain held off. Here was we probably had about 300 people there last night, and the rain was coming in. But boundary lines are weird because I had people call me, "Hey, I'm not coming. It's pouring." I go, "It hasn't rained here all day." And you try to convince it. And when you throw a free concert and you don't know who's going to show up, right? So at 6 o'clock, we're like, God, is anybody going to show up? Because music started at 6:15, and then they all started trickling in, which was nice. I realized I could never do what Brooks does, even though or even Chris Conley at Iowa Event Center. At least but you throw an event, you're like, okay, are people going to come? And we had a really good turnout. It was a really good show. And I'm biased because my son played, but it was good. And the rain did hold off. It didn't start raining until I went to pick up Mary at the airport. So that was fun. But yeah, I got another concert coming up in August. Throwing concerts is not easy. Stages are expensive. Sound systems are expensive. Production, food. Though food trucks crack me up. And I know people like food trucks. We had a food truck there last night, just if people wanted to eat. And they just do the blanket price on the meals, right? So we had a taco truck there last night. They had nachos, tacos, some other things. Everything on the menu was $18.
Oh, what?
Now they gave you a big old helping. But at some point you're like, okay, $18?
Dude, I tried to tell you, It has become my new favorite lunch spot. Fong's downtown. Courtney and I had lunch there with food left on the plate for $18. Both of us. For $10, you get, orange chicken, Mongolian beef, chicken stir fry, something like that with fried rice. And for $4, you get a slice of pizza. And for $8, you get 2 slices of pizza. And for $18, you get both or all 3.
And then you just drink water because
I'm a water drinker anyway. So that, but
yeah. And people would come. I go, man, that's a nice thing of nachos. How much that cost you? I might go get some $18. I'm like, no, I'm not going to go get it.
That's been my response.
Not that I don't want to support the guy who's trying to run a business, but I go, $18. We're getting into the price of a steak at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a smoked prime rib sandwich last night. It was $18, I think.
Yeah, and $18. Oh, I got a styrofoam plate where I have to go sit it in my lap and eat it.
I'm not a nacho fan anyway.
Oh,
it's almost like it's too much work or too inconsistent, or I can't get the right mix of stuff on it.
I'm not a nacho fan is like at a ballpark. So if you go to Principal Park, you'd always get like the helmet nachos.
Yeah.
And what I always found was they became so soggy because they would use that canned nacho cheese, and you'd be sitting at a ball game and you'd just be like, man, it's just a soggy chip at this point.
Yes. I'm just not a nacho fan. Then the cheese gets hard, and then you're like, the presentation can be amazing. It can look great. It's the other side. It's
anyway. Crazy. Like when you go to a ball game, you go to Principal Park, you go to Wells Fargo Arena, you go to I know a lot of people get the clone cone when they go to Hilton Coliseum. That's a must. Iowa has an ice cream cone as well. Is there any staple? I usually don't eat when I go to events unless it's provided in a buffet like it was at the Shane Gillis concert. But if you yes, I hold out for the free stuff. If it's free, I'll eat it, damn it. If not, I'll wait till I get home. Is there a staple that you eat when you're at an event?
Dude, you went for years at the iCubs. It was the helmet nachos. Now, again, as much as I just railed on nachos, it was like $10, so the whole family could eat out of it. It was fun. You carried the helmet around, so it served all the purposes. That was one of the things that I did.
Because you got a souvenir out of it. You're like,
yeah.
Not only are we buying nachos, we're getting a helmet.
No, other than that, no. Usually what I try to do, Travis, is find something unique. You know what I mean? Like nachos. I've had nachos. I've had pizza.
Yeah, at a baseball game, I'm a hot dog guy. That's all I'm a hot dog guy. I'll eat a hot dog, put some mustard on there, a little sauerkraut, some onions. That's about as good as I get. And I try to go on Dollar Dog Night. Again, to save money.
I love this guy.
To save money. Caitlin Clark spoke yesterday for the first time since she's been injured. Of course, the Indiana Fever are taking on the Chicago Sky this weekend. Caitlin Clark will not play this weekend. She says the earliest she can return to action is June 10th, Ross against the Atlanta Dream, but is not going to rush her recovery from a quad injury, which is actually probably refreshing to hear, because somebody who didn't miss a high school game, somebody who didn't miss a college game, somebody who didn't miss their first 46 pro games has kind of said, "Oh, there's a long game here, and
yes.
if you rush this, you risk the potential to do more damage to said injury." So to hear her say, "I'm not going to rush this. After Saturday, I'm going to be day to day, and if I feel good against Atlanta, I'll play. If I don't, I'm not going to play." And
help me with the timing of this, Travis, because when she was just hurt, again, time is weird.
2 weeks now.
Has it been 2 weeks? Thank you. You knew where I was going with this. It's already been 2 weeks. Okay. Because to me, it only been a week. And so to me, I was like, well, yeah, of course she's not playing. She needs to rest and get healthy and get better. Take the time. right? I mean, there's no reason to rush back. You're going to make the playoffs.
Well, you hope. That's the only thing. They were like, they've won one game without her. And, the WNBA is going, we really need you to make the playoffs. Don't fall farther down in the ratings. At least keep winning. Now, Chicago's a winnable game, even without Caitlin Clark. But and the WNBA is also going, get back because we need eyeballs on television screens. But it validates her popularity even more by being. But I think she's been around it enough. She knows it. There's a long play here. And
Travis, everybody should be on at the WNBA, the Indiana Fever. Everybody should be on that train of slow down. They're going to make the playoffs.
I would agree with you on that.
So you're not jeopardizing that right now. The only thing that you're missing out on is the instant revenue of the television ratings when she's in the games right now. And again, you could jeopardize a lot more by rushing that. So I'm glad I hate to say I'm glad she's not playing. That's the wrong thing. I'm glad they're being cautious is the right word to say.
And she's being great because there's a lot of athletes, Aaron Rodgers, who we'll talk about in hour number 2, who, you blow an Achilles, I'll be back by the end of the season, and you're just trying to rush. Here it's the long play. So, but she says she has learned a lot just sitting on the bench, which is probably a good thing. Learn, coach, different situations, go, oh, now I understand why people may get a little frustrated with me.
Yeah. You see the game from a different perspective. And again, this is a perspective she's watched a lot of basketball.
Yes.
But it is that competitive side of sitting there on the sideline, not being able to put yourself into the game to make the play. How do you handle that? I think it will help in some way. When we get to that, I don't want to surprise you with this, so I want to let you get the break here to prepare for it. When we talk about the Aaron Rodgers situation, when that news was starting to break yesterday, and I'm on the golf course, my buddy Nate had a good question. Aaron Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh. Does this extend or shorten Mike Tomlin's leash?
Ooh.
Don't give me an answer now.
Okay.
Because I kind of have gone both ways on it. I think I've got a landing spot for it. But it was fun because when I left, when I was leaving the golf course yesterday, I met a former listener who hadn't found our podcast yet, and he's a big Steelers fan. And he was like, he's out there. Okay, got a second. When I rolled up to the golf course yesterday, I got there before my buddies. And I pull up, and the guy is standing there washing the golf carts. He's about 65 years old. Spraying down he's got a smile on his face. Sun is shining. It's 9:30 in the morning. I literally sat there for 3-4 minutes watching him going, that's it. That's it. Retire. Get to
work at a golf course.
Yeah, work at a golf course. Look at that. This is, and he just looked happy. And I got out and I walked over to the golf cart, and he happened to be driving one up, and he came out and I go, hey, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I was kind of like watching you for a while. You look like you're happy. And he smiled at me, big smile. He goes, I am. This is awesome. He goes, they pay me with free golf. I get a little tiny paycheck. He goes, but I golf so much, I've done the math. They pay me about $40 an hour.
It's a good way to look at it. 515-517-2303. We'll come back. Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show coming up next at therushradio.com. Powered by Willis Automotive.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Hi, my name's Jerry Rodriguez. I'm a Lexus technician, and I've been with Willis about 28 years. My favorite part about working at Willis has to be my coworkers, teammates, a lot of like-minded folks with the same goals in mind, and that's taking care of the customer. We have the fishing. I enjoy fishing. We have a lot of good fishing here in the Des Moines area with various lakes.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels. There's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Friday, everybody. The weekend vibes are with us. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Rush Radio app on your Android phone, thank you for tuning in this morning. If you're watching us on YouTube, give this channel a subscription, like the video, leave your comments in the comments section. Play along with all the other listeners that are tuned in as well. You can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. So we mentioned that we were talking about Aaron Rodgers, who yesterday signed a 1-year contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers played the long wait with Aaron Rodgers. He was relieved of duties from the New York Jets, 81 days ago, and free agency had been open for over 70 days. We get to June 5th, and he decides to sign a 1-year contract with the Steelers. Steelers did not draft a quarterback. They got rid of a couple that were already there with the full expectation that Aaron Rodgers was going to be there. He's 41 years old, did not have the career in New York like many people thought he would have, and now is going to, I would say, Ross, by the 1-year contract, it is a 1 year at a time with Aaron Rodgers. And I think he's been fairly transparent. I mean, I don't think he's strung to be along. I think all along he has said, hey, I need to see where I'm at mentally. I need to see where I'm at personally, physically, because at his age, and 41's old in the National Football League, very old. You're a senior citizen at that point. You got to make sure you still have it in you. So Steelers are rolling the dice. They are rolling the dice with Aaron Rodgers.
He's a weird guy, man. Very polarizing guy. It's almost, he's fascinating to me because he's so much like all of these other great athletes that we watch. Because there is a case to be made. Aaron Rodgers, it was at one time one of the great quarterbacks. I mean, the guy was amazing. Multiple-time MVP, taking teams to the Super Bowls. He was fantastic. No doubt about that. But he's a different cat, man. Totally different guy. Doesn't do relationships well. Doesn't really meld well with other people, even his own family.
You know, I'm not going to knock him for that because I'm in the same boat, right?
I don't. Again, it's not a knock. I want to be careful here, but it is indicative of yeah. When you're a guy that's supposed to be a leader and supposed to be that, not supposed to be. Again, we got to be careful. He is. He's a fantastic quarterback that could win football games. He's 41 now. That's gone. We all watch this happen with the great athletes. It slips. Father Time wins. It's amazing to me that with all of that being said, he's polarizing. He's weird. He's not great with people. He ruins relationships quick. He's 41 years old. There's still an NFL team going, all right, and how many millions? We want you to be the guy that you're the best opportunity we have to win is to bring in a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers who's going to piss off most of our fan base. I mean, even the people that aren't upset with him because of his politics and his drug use and all that stuff. Even the people that aren't upset with that are going to go, he's 41.
That's probably my biggest thing is that, okay, Father Time is not on your side. Look how you did with the Jets. And not everybody can pull off what Tom Brady pulled off. Even Peyton Manning, when he won his last year in Denver, he won for a lot of other reasons. It wasn't because Peyton Manning was this dominant quarterback. I mean,
it's because Von Miller.
Yeah. I mean,
there are a lot of reasons.
But you brought up the intriguing question as we were heading into the break, and that is, what does this do for the clock on Mike Tomlin? And again, we've talked about it before on the show, and we'll bring it up again. In my lifetime, I'm 54 years old. I will soon be 55. In my lifetime, the Steelers have only had 3 head coaches. I mean,
that's crazy in the professional sports world in America.
Yes.
That's crazy in the college world, and we've seen that at Iowa. That's crazy. Wonder which team has had the most NFL coaches.
Oh, I don't even know. I wouldn't even know the answer to that. There's so much turnover in the National Football League.
The Cleveland Browns, duh. The Cleveland Browns have had the most head coaches in NFL history with 18 non-interim coaches. The Raiders and Bills follow closely. Wow.
But for how old of a franchise Cleveland is, or is that?
I'm looking this up to make sure.
Cleveland? Is that the new Cleveland?
I'm looking this up.
While you work that up, 515.
Hold on. This is from just since 2000.
Since 2000,
the Raiders have had 15.
Wow.
Number of coaches each NFL team has had since 2000. This can't be right. Yeah, I'm sorry. There was a phone call. Go ahead.
Derek in New Sharon. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show. What's going on, Derek?
How about my boy Big Stones Haliburton strikes again?
Huge.
Jeez. Huge. Boy, he's making a name for himself. He's making a lot more money this offseason, I'll tell you. Woo. Boy.
Now, when you say that, Derek, making more, he's certainly making a name for himself, man. He's running himself into that conversation of being the torch bearer for the NBA. I mean it, like the guy, the name that you think of when you think of the NBA. It's not Tyrese Haliburton right now. Actually, today it is.
If they happen to slip up and win the title, he is one of the top faces in the NBA.
Oh, I think he's already one of the top faces in the NBA. I guess when you watched the game last night, Derek, my big question is, were you wearing Iowa State gear? Do you dress up in the Iowa State sweatshirt when Tyrese Haliburton is playing?
No, he's only there 2 years, but we still love you in case you're listed, bud, for the NIL. We need some money up there. But
are you giving?
I wouldn't even have him as one of the top 20 Cyclones of all time. But he wore it. He wore it for 2 years. He was out most of one. But anyway, fellas, it's National Donut Day, so I tried to get the old lady's donut this morning. She said, "Get out of here! You got a company to run." That's why God gave us hookers.
Jeez. All right, Derek. Thank you, sir.
Hey, you guys have a great weekend.
Thanks, man. You too. My God, gave us hookers.
I tried to give the wife a donut this morning. I thought there was going to be some sort of sexual joke about the donut. I thought it was going to get gross about that. No, wife told him to go run a company. That's why we got hookers, boys.
I was driving back from Muscatine last week to go to the Shane Gillis show, and you drive by the new Sharon exit on I-80,
and it says Derek, doesn't it?
It might as well just say Derek.
I'm with you. I drove over to Sigourney to go look at a house, and both times, see New Sharon, my brain, I've got that dyslexia thing. It says New Sharon, my brain sees Derek.
You wonder how that happens for other people as well, right?
How we doing, fellas?
People who listen to this show drive by the exit and go, "Oh, Derek."
My favorite was when Derek would call in the afternoons, and he'd be lit up, and you could just hear from the minute he came on, you could hear that he'd been tanked up a bit, and he'd fire off something about Fran McCaffrey, and then he'd go, "Let's take some calls."
I needed a little Derek on to start my weekend. But you were talking about Mike Tomlin. Or did you find it? Was that accurate, by the way, 2002?
Dude, this is so I've done a little bit more searching. Since 2000, the Las Vegas Raiders have hired the most coaches in the NFL with 15 hires.
And they wonder why they can't win.
The Browns and Lions have each had 12.
That's an insane number. And in my lifetime, the Steelers have had 3. 3 in 54 years. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. And that's why the Steelers are one of the best franchises in all of pro sports. They've been pretty consistent. Even when they're not great, they're good.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, you can't think of when they've been really bad for any stretch of time.
Yeah. So do you think Mike Tomlin's rope gets a little shorter now with Aaron Rodgers?
No, I do not.
Okay.
And in fact, I think I'd love to hear from Steeler fans. I saw the one guy at the golf course yesterday and talked to him for about 30 seconds, and he was like, I'm angry. I'm a Steelers fan. I said, hey, what do you think this does to Mike Tomlin? Because I don't think any Steelers fan, and I don't think any NFL fan, and I would hope that no NFL front office executive is looking at this and saying, all right, if Mike Tomlin can't win with Aaron Rodgers, then he's not the guy. Or is thinking, here we go. We just got the magic sauce. Aaron Rodgers, that's what the Steelers were missing. Now we're Super Bowl contenders because we just got a 41-year-old guy that might go on an ayahuasca trip in week 3. No, but I don't think anybody's thinking that. In fact, I think that people that are Mike Tomlin fans, I'm a big Mike Tomlin fan. The guy's a Hall of Famer. There are not many Mike Tomlins in the world. And I think that most people are going to look at this and go, all right, this is a stopgap. Get him a year. Aaron Rodgers is just there to play the position for 1 year. Let's let Mike Tomlin cook for a little bit longer here. I think maybe if you're a Steelers fan, maybe you're done with Mike Tomlin. I mean, hell, the Patriots got done with Bill Belichick. Maybe Pittsburgh fans are like, it's time for something new. It is time for new blood. Mike Tomlin's had his chance. He's done great. Thank you for your work.
He's won a Super Bowl, though, right? Yeah. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. I think what Steeler fans like, and me growing up a Steeler fan, am I as big a Steeler fan today as I was when I was 15, 16 years old? The answer to that is no. Life happens. But you're talking about a blue-collar city, Ross. And I do think culture has a little bit to do with it. When I talk about culture, I'm talking about the culture of a fan base, culture of a city, is that it's almost the Steelers are like, they're not day traders. They invest in the S&P 500. They understand the long game, that over time, the incremental gains are much better so they're used to playing the long game with their coaches. And sure, you're going to question decisions, but you also see you go, would you rather be the Pittsburgh Steelers who are great sometimes and good, or would you rather be the Cleveland Browns, or would you rather be somebody else that has gone through 15 head coaches since 2000?
I mean, outside of the Patriots, there's not a lot of franchises that have had the extended success. I mean, and to Aaron Rodgers' credit, the Packers are definitely in that category. How old do you think Mike Tomlin is?
Boy, if I were to bet, I would say Mike Tomlin is 52 years old.
53, dude. There's a lot. Maybe that shows how stressful that life is. I mean, because there are times I see Mike Tomlin and I think, oh, he looks like he's nearing 60. It's starting to wear on him.
Well, you don't sleep. You're up all the time. Your job is to coach 24/7.
He doesn't have to. But, dude, competitive nature, there's a lot of life left in that career. Or does he go the John Gruden route and eventually just go, man, I can just... You got to sit around. At some point, these guys got to look at John Gruden and go, oh, I want to do that. Sit in a room and break down film with kids and get paid millions.
Remember, John Gruden came back to coach the Raiders, but got fired because of an email.
True.
I think the route you want to talk about is Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher was on top of the world when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He retired at the age of 49. And
went
how
to
many
the booth.
offers? And went to the booth. How many offers do you think Bill Cowher has had to come back and coach and said, I'm good. I'm good. I'll show up every Sunday in New York. Get on the set.
I think Mike Tomlin's also one of those guys that they should throw out that stupid thing of we have to wait until you're out of the game for X number of years before you can be eligible for the Hall of Fame. No. Tom Brady was a Hall of Famer when he was playing. Peyton Manning was a Hall of Famer when he was playing. Why do we have that rule? With a guy like Mike Tomlin, with a guy like Bill Belichick, why can't we go, oh yeah, these guys are Hall of Famers. Throw them in the Hall of Fame.
Let's change the conversation.
Okay.
Let's use all sports. Do you think, and this would be weird, do you think coaches and players, if you know they're a Hall of Famer, you can be put in the Hall of Fame while you're on active duty?
Yes. I have no problem with that. That we should be able to say, Shohei Ohtani.
Just put him in now.
Put him in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't have 500 home runs. Well, he's only done what? He's been the most famous player in the game for a half a decade already. Hall of Fame. John, I love it. John, they do it for golf. Thank you, John.
Because these guys play until, Fred Couples is still on the Champions Tour. He was just in Des Moines last week. Because golfers don't stop playing golf. I'm with you. I mean, you there are some guys you just know who are Hall of Famers, right? And you're like, okay, let's forget our stupid rules. I think what they do here is, they have that waiting period to make sure you don't come back because, you can't have an active player. And we're not talking about a lot of players here. There are just certain people you go, oh,
it's not a lot. You're right, man. Not a lot of guys fit into this. But coaches, to me, Bill Belichick and Mike Tomlin are two great examples of it. Greg Popovich. What are we going to wait for?
Well, is Pop in? Because, coaches like Bill Self is in the Basketball Hall of Fame. You can still be active and be in the from a coach's standpoint, you could be a Hall of Famer.
I don't believe Greg Popovich is already in the Hall of Fame, is he?
I don't know. You have easier access to the Google machine than I do.
No, I don't see him as being in the Hall of Fame yet. Oh, wait. Basketball Hall of Fame. Here we go, Trav. What's it say about it? Inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. You're right. Doesn't give me a lot of information.
You know why? Because the Basketball Hall of Fame might be one of the worst run Hall of Fames there is.
This is really weird. There's basically a picture. Anyway. Yeah, he apparently is in the Hall of Fame. Here we go. Enshrined in 2023. 5 NBA championships, 3-time NBA Coach of the Year, winningest coach in NBA history.
So yeah, basketball puts coaches in that are still active. I don't know if they do players or not, but coaches they do.
I think I think all sports should. I mean, if you're a Hall of Famer, again, like that first ballot thing. If you're a Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer. They give it a couple years to just make sure you hold up the test of time.
Well, let's use is Mike Trout a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
You didn't hesitate on that, right? I mean, you were pretty quick. You're talking for what, 5-6 years? Maybe was going to be that generational player.
Yeah,
or was. Then the latter part of his career, just injured all the time. He's not going to win a world championship. And you have a certain group of people who go, "Who's Mike Trout? That dude's just injured all the time."
Dude from Iowa put up a comment earlier. I want to go back and highlight for just a moment. In fact, dude from Iowa had a comment a couple days ago I wanted to talk about, but he said here, and we'll do this because this is a nice thing to do. He says Adam's Garage Door installed a new opener on our small garage door yesterday. They're a great company to work with, installed new doors for me last year as well. And then he said later, I was going to do a Google review, but I thought that this might be better. And Tyler said garage doors aren't something to mess with. So I like that. I like that you did that, dude. Thank you very much for posting that. Adam's Garage Door. We'll be reaching out to them to see if they want
Yes, we will.
advertisers.
We're going to call them.
TheRushRadio.com. Make sure you tell Adam's Garage Door that you heard about them on the Rush Radio.
And if you want to advertise in the Rush Radio show, just go to TheRushRadio.com and click the advertisement.
I saw a dude posted a couple days ago, and we were in the middle of a conversation, and he posted something, and I was like, "Oh, I want to go back and recall that." So I just kind of wrote down a quick note about it. But we were talking about flying on the private jets.
Yeah,
we were talking about the headbutt situation with Ernie Els.
Oh,
Steve Marino, remember? And dude from Iowa posted about being on a private jet with a bunch of dudes from Titan Tire, and I knew some dudes from Titan Tire that could. Not throw down fight. I was going to say some dudes that could throw down. I meant party. The guys from Titan Tire, that was a fun group of dudes.
You knew it was going to be a long weekend when you went with Titan Tire.
You went to the tractor rides, and that was, like you go to a campsite and there's always that one camper you're like, oh, that's where the party is. You feel it. That's Titan Tire was always that way. So when he said that, I was like, ooh, I wonder if he's talking about Skip.
Was he?
I don't know. I've been able, this is the first time I've been able to even reference it. I saw that he wrote that.
Speaking of throwback to earlier in the week, and we had some kids from New Mexico peeing in water jugs. Ross calls me yesterday and goes, dude, I got a story for you. Seems like peeing in the water jug isn't the only thing that happens that's kind of gross. Sounds like Easton Roosevelt had a little thing going back in the 90s.
This would have been 2000s.
Okay, 2000s.
And I was unaware of this until just the other day. One of our listeners is a friend of mine who went to East, but was several years behind me. He's younger than me, played baseball. He's a really good athlete. Alan usually listens to our show live, but he happened to that day not be able to listen live and was listening to the podcast as he was mowing that night. And so he sends me a text message. And he's like, dude, I'm listening to the podcast. I'm hearing the story about the New Mexico kid. Got a story for you. He says, I'm surprised you didn't hear about this because some of my friends were actually his coaches at East at the time. They show up at Roosevelt for a JV game.
And by the way, your son plays JV baseball at Roosevelt right now.
Yeah, this is 20 years ago. Okay.
I know.
And at the time, there were drinking fountains in each dugout, which I'm not even sure they have drinking fountains in the dugouts anymore. I think everybody brings their own water. But at the time, there were drinking fountains in the dugout. And when the East team got into the dugout, there was a turd in the drinking fountain.
A turd.
That's all I know. That's the extent of the information I have. I don't know what kind, how big. I didn't ask any questions. I just kind of had the same reaction you did. And Alan says that he remembers that everybody was mad about it, and they basically went out and ended the games as quickly as they could. They won like 36-4, and ended the 2 games as quick as they could and got out of there. And he remembers everybody being mad. I'll tell you the New Mexico pea story. So for those that didn't hear it, a kid was tasked with the job of filling up a water cooler for the opposing team in New Mexico for a JV baseball game. He did. Well, before he filled it up, he peed in the jug and then filled it up with water and then bragged about it to his teammates. And the story ended up getting back to the athletic director and the coach, and they told the other team. Charges were filed. They ended up being dismissed, but he was charged, or is that the right way to say it?
They wanted to charge him. The DA said, we're not going to charge him.
With 15 counts of battery. Dude, I'm going to tell you, a lot of people that I have talked to and said that story to, I thought it was kind of funny. I'm like, this is funny. This guy peed in the water cooler.
Because we were high school boys at one time, and you go, oh, you make stupid decisions.
A lot of people were pissed.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Some people heard that story and were like, that kid, throw the book at him. I was like, oh, yeah. Throw the book at him. I thought it was funny.
Isn't that the way? That's weird how people just interpret things and go, yeah, I mean, was it a cool thing to do? No. But it just shows you that over time, 15, 16-year-old boys are going to do stupid 15, 16-year-old boy stuff. And
boys will be boys. Look at Ernie Els.
Why don't exactly? Now we fight.
Where?
I mean, you could be mad. I don't know if I'd throw the book at him. I'd be like, dude, what are you doing? Peeing in the jug. And then you just start quoting dodgeball, and it becomes even more enjoyable. 515-517-2303. We'll take a break. Come back for the last half hour of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hi everyone and welcome to May. It's finally starting to feel like spring. I'm John Lanera, sales manager here at Willis Lexus, and this month we've got some great specials. We have interest rates as low as 3.79 on select models, and if you prefer to lease, we have $1,000 of lease cash on RX, $2,000 on ES and ES Hybrid, and $2,500 on NX Gas. And don't forget, this month we've got the Principal Charity Classic coming on, so expect to see you guys out there. I invite you to stop out and take a look, or visit us online at willislexus.com.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make. Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Summer's on its way, and that means road trips, travel, and summer activity. Is your car ready? Come in now and get your maintenance done, like air conditioning, alignment, and fluid services to make sure your Land Rover is ready for everything the summer can throw at it. Schedule service online at LandRoverDesMoines.com or give us a call today.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. That's weird.
What happened?
I was trying to schedule a surprise guest for you, and I sent him the link yesterday, and he tried to get into the waiting room, and the link didn't work.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I have a feeling he's been there since like 7 o'clock.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I told him I said, "Hey, text me on my phone if you don't get in," and he never texted me. So I just sent him the link again. I don't know if he'll get in.
I think I know. Is it this? I've been in. I think I know what you're talking about here.
Okay.
Right? Is this our listener that's the attorney?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he's able to come on with us because I don't want to. I don't want to tell this story and have the details wrong. Right.
Yeah. But I know he's golfing this morning, and I said, just jump on at 7 o'clock. I'm like, oh, he must have forgot about us. And then he literally during the break, hey, I'm in the waiting room. I'm like,
oh,
I don't see you. I don't see him. And we've had this happen a couple times. Now, normally,
and I'm just, hey, he's not on the call.
No. I'm
okay,
looking at the call screen.
Okay.
Right now.
All right.
Yeah.
I was checking. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. If it didn't work out today, we can. Oh, here we go.
I see him. I see. There he is.
There he is. All right, we're gonna bring him on. So we're gonna bring Kent Gummert on, and he's an attorney. And Kent, here's the deal. I knew nothing about this story whatsoever. Ross drops it on me the other day, and I'm like, oh, we got to talk about this. So I'm going to let you set it up. I know you got to protect some clients and stuff like that, but this story is just too good to be true. So I'll let you take it from here.
All right. Thanks, guys. I have been in the waiting room since 7. I didn't realize I had to put my name in to get in. So I do appreciate you taking Darren from New Sharon and telling a turd in a Instagram story before me. So in my practice, we represent people who get sued and corporations who get sued. And so our clients are assigned to us through their insurance carriers and their employers. So I don't know my clients at the time I'm hired. I just know their names. And 99% of the time, the name means nothing to me. So in the summer of 2020, a new lawsuit came in, and it was based on the accidental shooting at Drake back in 2019, August 2019, where a young man was hit by an accidental discharge of a weapon. And a lawsuit was filed in the summer of 2020. The lawsuit came in, and the person I was to represent was named Ross Peterson. And you can imagine my reaction. I think at the time...
Well, I mean, Ross lives in the Drake neighborhood, so, I mean, it would make sense.
It made perfect sense. And I think at the time, Ross was doing the afternoon show with Chris Williams, who's obviously a big Iowa State guy. So I had two reactions when I saw Ross Peterson's name. One, I get to meet Ross Peterson from the radio, and maybe he could introduce me to Chris Williams, and Chris and I, could start hanging out. No offense, Ross.
No, I feel the same way.
So,
until you hang out with Chris, then you'll like me a lot more.
Yeah, I've heard.
I'm joking.
So, lawsuit goes on for about a year, and throughout the entire litigation, the attorneys representing the young man who had been shot kept referring to my client as, I have it written down here, local sports radio personality Ross Peterson. And they didn't realize my client was not the guy on the radio. And they never found out. The case was dismissed before deposition. So I never corrected them either.
Because you wanted to go to court with this, didn't you? You wanted this to go to court because you would have been like, this is how ill-prepared they are. They didn't even do their homework.
That's exactly right. And if you remember, they tried to tie my client in with the property in with Drake. And so they thought because they had the local sports radio personality Ross Peterson and the Drake athletic department, they had to be in bed together, right? And I relished the thought of them coming into a deposition and seeing my client. I mean, I was disappointed when my client came in and it wasn't Ross. Can you imagine what the plaintiff's attorneys would have thought?
So how old was this Ross Peterson?
Oh, 60s.
Did you tell them all along that, hey, this is their strategy, we're just going to let it ride?
I told him I was disappointed that you're not the guy on the radio, and he thought it was funny. Actually, he had never heard of the Ross Peterson on the radio. Go figure.
Here's the thing, Ken. I've heard of that Ross Peterson. Was he the Ross Peterson that was involved, that went to Roosevelt High School, that was involved with the Tinker versus Des Moines Board of Education?
Well, I don't know. I just knew they owned some property around Drake.
I'm pretty sure this is because I've had a chance to chat with that Ross Peterson one time. So when the Vietnam War was happening, the Tinkers was a kid at a family, a brother and sister at North, that started wearing black armbands. And then they sued the Des Moines Public School Board to Des Moines, DMPS, to keep wearing those bands, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court. Ross Peterson was a writer for the Roosevelt paper and wrote a bunch of articles in support of the Tinker family. And so I think that might have been the same Ross Peterson, but I don't even know. Hell, I'm probably guessing. There's probably a whole slew of Ross Petersons out there.
Well, we know there's two.
That's true. And both appear to be good people. So let me ask you this. Had you ever seen this in your law practice? Does this happen a lot where lawyers get lazy and because they're probably out-of-town lawyers, didn't do anything, and they just totally get the people wrong?
I'm not going to disparage anyone. They were out-of-state lawyers. To be honest, Ross Peterson isn't that common of a name, and you're dealing with athletic. I'm not going to criticize it. The answer is no. It doesn't happen that often.
Okay.
God, that would have been great.
Yeah, Travis. So Kent reached out to me that when this happened and the case all got settled, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I've got this funny story for you." And then I ended up meeting Kent at the Tasty Tacos when we did the grand opening there on 86th Street. And thanks a lot for stopping and saying hi, Kent, because what a fun story. And it's one that I didn't ever feel compelled to share, and I didn't quite have all of the details lined up. I kind of had, since in my mind, this all was revealed in court. But
no, the other side to this day still believes my client is you. And I'm sure sooner or later I'll represent you, Ross. It's just a matter of
yeah, it's only a matter of time.
But if I find my file, I'll find a pleading where they put in the pleading, Ross Peterson, local sports radio personality, and highlight it and send it to you. But I'm afraid you'll frame it and put it on your wall.
It will be right there. There's that spot. I'm saving that spot. Get for that.
That's funny. And then Kent and I realized he realized this morning that we have another connection. We didn't put this together. So you were at Key Biscayne drinking. And
it was a seminar, air quotes, and it was
right
a
off.
year and a half ago. And I was speaking to a potential client who works for a large insurance company out of Omaha, and her husband was there as her plus one, and we were just chatting him up. What do you do? Well, he works for a construction company out of Nebraska, MCL. And I said, "Oh, wow. Do you know Travis Justice?" And his face just, "Yeah, how do you know Travis?" And I told him, "Well, I listen to him every morning on the radio." And he goes, "I've never listened to the show." So he said he did like you, Rob, or Travis. He does like you.
Well, let me tell you the weird story, and I think you're talking about Scott Keeler is his name. His wife is a lawyer who works for the insurance company, right?
Yeah.
So the bigger entity of that, this is how this world gets really, really small. So his wife is at a conference or goes to California or Las Vegas to work with like the main law firm. I think that they have a law firm that represents them too, right? That lawyer is my son Owen's mom's girlfriend. So my son Owen's girlfriend's mom. I mean, that's how small
That's
the world
wow.
was. Yeah,
Wow.
she's like, I'm at Omaha. Oh, my daughter lives in Omaha. It's like dating Owen Justice, and you're like, they just start putting that together. It's really, really a small world. Small world. I thought you were golfing today, Kent.
I thought it was going to be on at 7.
That's fair.
So,
Well, I'm sorry you didn't know how to spell Kent and put it into the.
But
As we had a conversation about lawyers and their attention to detail.
I'm going to try to not break anything today, Ross.
Good luck.
But no, I appreciate the ability to tell the story. I do like your show. I told you I play it at the Walnut Creek Y every morning in the locker room.
Well, thank you for that. Well, I'm sure we appreciate that. We're the only ones, but we appreciate that.
Yeah, there you go.
And I can help future guests out because I send instructions and I'll say, type your name in or you won't be able to get in. So now that I know that, I didn't know that.
Kent, thank you. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for stopping and saying hi. Thanks for being willing to come on and have fun with us and tell this story and do this. I really appreciate it, sir.
Well, have a good weekend, guys.
All right.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
That would have been so funny if it had went to court. It would have been. It just would have been. Can you imagine getting up there doing this whole opening statement? I'm picturing like these great lawyer scenes out of some of the best movies where your opening argument, and you get up and go, "My guy's never been on the radio in his life.
I don't know who the hell they're talking about.
You're prosecuting the wrong person here. Let's throw this thing out now because this Ross Peterson is not that Ross Peterson." Sure, there is a Ross Peterson who's on the radio, but he's a skinny dude who went to East High School.
Only owns one house in the Drake neighborhood. Yeah, how about that?
What I can't believe is you kept that story from me. You dropped that on me. I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
Did I? There's a couple of them. There's one. There's one story that I told Pat on the Camino that nobody knows about me. We had this thing. We were walking one day and he was like, "Think of something something about you that Travis doesn't know." I'm like, "Travis knows everything. He knows every detail of my life." He's like, "Try to think of something Travis doesn't know." And I said, "All right, same thing." So he told me something about him that you don't know.
Pat's a walking secret book. I love the man.
That was easy.
Yeah, he skipped Owen's concert last night, right? And he just texted me, "Are you mad at me?" No, I'm not mad at you. But there's a lot of things in Pat's life that I don't know. He's one of these guarded Italians that, just keep. I'm an open book, and he's a little more reserved. But I'm kind of disappointed that Pat has one up on me on you. Kind of bothers me a little bit.
So then, so this was one of the stories that nobody. I mean, I told a few people, like, "Oh man, this weird thing happened. This attorney called me and told me this funny story." And then I was standing with Ken Payne, our sales guy, when Kent walked in at Tasty Tacos. So then I got to tell Ken the whole story. But that's a fun one.
And it's actually sports related because it goes back to the shooting. One of the Murphy twins was in, I believe.
It was an accidental discharge.
Yes.
It was a strange situation, and the case did end up getting dismissed and dropped. I don't even know, again, and Kent would have told us if it had any bearing at all, but I don't even know who necessarily was who was charging who or whatever. But wrong Ross Peterson. Luckily. It's funny.
Yeah.
He saw the name.
That's all
and he's
Ross
like,
needed was to go back to court. That's all Ross needed.
I like it. One of my buddies was like, "Sorry, dude, Ross already has an attorney on retainer."
Well, it's not for him, but it's on retainer.
So anyway, that was a fun story that I've been holding on.
Happened to other people that just have and he's right. Ross Peterson isn't a common name, but it's not an uncommon name. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I've met a few. I think I've told you the story about meeting another Ross Peterson who's my age. And then just a few months ago, I showed a house to some people, and they were like, "Oh, that's funny. We have a nephew named Ross Peterson." And they're like, started to talk about where he's from. I'm like, "Yeah, that's the kid I've met. I know that Ross Peterson."
Ross, can you plank?
Yeah.
How good of a planker are you?
Like how long? Oh, are you talking?
Well,
so I saw the Jamie Pollard and Lance Farrell thing last night. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I didn't even see this.
Oh, no kidding.
No.
So then tell me where you're coming from.
Well, because some health experts came out with the number of minutes based on your age group on what you're supposed to be able to plank. So if you're in your 20s, you should be able to plank for 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Same with your 30s. In your 40s, you should be able to go a minute or a little bit longer. If you're in your 50s like me, 30 to 60 seconds. And 60s is 20 to 30 seconds. That seemed kind of low to me. And maybe I'm not planking right because I don't think I have I don't think I have really good core strength, but it's not like I get down and plank every day, but I would like to think, and I might try it once the show is over, to plank for a minute. That doesn't seem that long. Or am I doing something wrong? Like, can you cheat on a plank?
I imagine there's ways that your form is bad, and then it makes it easier to do it.
Okay. Because we will take the path of least resistance.
You're asking the wrong dude if you want to know what the right form is or what it looks like. When I was doing ferals, I loved doing ferals. It was and we saw Lance at the Shane Gillis concert. He was up in the suite with us.
Talk to him.
And then I saw a photo this morning. Like, dude, one of the very first things I saw was a photo of Lance Farrell and Jamie Pollard planking together next to each other, both planking and looking up at the camera.
By the way, both men in tremendous shape.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Jamie's in really good shape, but it's one of those compare and contrast situations. You stand next to Lance Farrell, who's 6'9". He looks like a Greek god.
He does. You're like, man.
He's got great hair. He's good looking. He's tan. He's got muscles all over. So anyway, you're right. Jamie's fit. It's like putting me next to Lou Ferrigno. Like, wow, Ross is really skinny. So anyway, they were both planking, and like they were keynote speakers at an event together, and this was just kind of like something fun that they did. So I wondered where that was coming from. I thought you saw that photo and were asking about that.
No.
Could I plank for a minute or longer? I think I can, but again, going back to my time at Farrell's, I do feel like when you're planking the right way, it gets really hard really fast.
Yeah, which makes me think I'm planking wrong. Because I will take the path of least resistance. Oh, that doesn't hurt. I can stay there. It's probably I'm not on like my toes. Because you gotta have your toes straight up.
I don't know. Again, somebody could tell us the right way. You know who could tell us? Lance Farrell. Lance say, hey, how do you plank?
Yeah, but I don't want to go to I'm not to the point where I want to go to a gym with Lance because he'll run me through a workout that I won't survive.
It pushed you to the limit.
Yeah. Somebody last night like, man, there must be a gym around here. I'm at the concert. I'm like, what do you mean there must be a gym around? Well, look at you. I go, I haven't worked out once.
Did I got to tell you, we were walking. Where were we walking when Courtney and I were behind you? We were at the Gillis concert.
Oh, I have no ass.
But you know what you do have?
I have good legs.
Calves.
I have calves.
And she was like, ooh, look at Travis's calves. It's like, hey, you quit looking at Travis's calves. Eyes up here. Eyes up here.
Mike says, Travis thinks sitting on his butt with legs straight is planking. Isn't it? Got my legs straight right now.
The sit
That's
part
like,
of sit and reach. Isn't that what you do?
That's right. That's planking to me.
That's stretching to me. Dude, sitting with my legs straight out and my back up. Oh, no.
We do want to tell you about the Iowa Fireworks Farm because we have an amazing deal for you. And, of course, everybody likes to play Pyromaniac this time of year. The 4th of July is coming up, and are you ready to light up the sky? The Iowa Fireworks Farm has a bumper crop of boomers at dirt cheap prices, and each week, Ross and I are going to give away a $50 gift card to stock up. So later on today, follow us on our social media channels, Facebook and X, and we're going to announce our first week winner. But there's so much more coming down the pipe.
Gotta love the bumper crop of boomers. I know I don't want to hang out with a guy that doesn't like a bumper crop of boomers. I'll put it that way. It's real easy to get down to the Iowa Fireworks Farm. It's about 25 minutes straight south on I-35 at the New Virginia exit. You can also check out their website, Travis. Save you a little bit of time, and when you get down there shopping, you can go to iowafireworksfarm.com. You can find out their hours and directions. And then when you get down there and you get to their huge warehouse, it's like a 6,000 square foot showroom that they have. You can actually preview a lot of the products before you buy them. So great spot. Go down and check them out.
So I mentioned the $50 gift card that we're going to give away weekly. When you go to therushradio.com, click on the promotions tab. That's how you get registered for it, right? You fill out your name, your email, your telephone number. But coming up right before the 4th of July, we're going to be giving away the Godfather. That's right, the Godfather. You just hear the word the Godfather, and you know that's something really, really big. It's a $700 fireworks mega pack that'll blow your mind. That will be our grand prize. So go to therushradio.com. That's therushradio.com. Click on that promotions tab and get signed up. What's that grin for?
I just love bumper crop of boomers.
It's a great tagline. It is a really, really good tagline.
Love the
and
boomers.
He's not wrong. I love blowing off fireworks. But every time I do it, it gives me this rush. But then you realize, oh, man, I just blew up a lot of money. I mean, I got a buddy
that's why,
spends
again,
probably
that's why,
$10,000 to $15,000 a year on
that's why that preview thing is so cool. That is one of the things that I love because you can it's your expectation. You know exactly what's going to happen, so your expectation is right what you end up getting. Here's my thought this year, because I'm going to be going up to Canada for the week right after the 4th of July. Like, we leave on the 6th or 7th, I don't remember, right?
Yeah.
I bet I could take fireworks up to the island.
Are fireworks legal in Canada? I don't know.
Oh, we're gonna let them know.
Yeah, you're gonna be crossing customs, and you're like, "Do you have any firearms?" No, but I got fireworks. Ha! You're our 51st state now, so therefore I'm going to go show you what America is all about.
Do you plan on leaving anything in Canada? Yeah, some of my freedom behind. I'm gonna blow it up.
And then all the Canadians be like, "Damn Americans. Damn Americans."
They say that out loud, but inside they go, freedom.
Think that's really what they're saying?
Yeah, I'm going to tell them that sulfur smells what freedom smells like. That's what I'm going to say. Smell that? Smell the freedom? So we'll see. We'll see. I think I wonder if I'll have to reach out to Gary and see if but that'd be fun. Fireworks on the island?
Yeah.
Go down to the Iowa Fireworks Farm, load up.
Makes sense to me.
Do we have rabbit hole time? I got a couple minutes here. Okay. Did you see that the WNBA is investigating the Storm assistant coach for using profanity towards a former player?
Just
Have you seen it?
Profanity?
Swear to God. Seattle Storm are facing scrutiny against after reports Wednesday indicated the WNBA has launched an investigation into the team's coaching staff. The team was previously a subject to separate internal investigations in December. WNBA reporter Christina Williams, this is on foxnews.com, reported Wednesday that sources said the league and league security have launched a probe into the team's coaching staff. Williams later added a source said the investigation was linked to a former player. Complaint against an assistant coach of directing profanity at an unnamed player. There's got to be more to this, right?
I mean, if you're just telling somebody to run their effing butt off, who cares? I mean, I want it. This is where I'm different. I want a coach that swears. Not saying you have to, but I kind of go, okay, I get it. You drop an F-bomb, you drop an S-bomb.
The Storm hired outside counsel last year to investigate allegations of bullying and harassment by the coaching staff. The probe included that there were violations of workplace conduct. Quote, I believe that the organization did the right thing, Storm coach Noel Quinn said in February. Throughout this entire process, the communication level was tremendously high. Felt supported in a lot of ways, and I know my staff felt supported as well. With anything like this, it is important to take the right steps, and our organization did that. They investigating a coach for using profanity? There's got to be more to that story.
To me, it has to be how that if you're targeting somebody, berating them, and it's nonstop, I get. If it's just show me a coach, and I'm sure they're out there, but even the ones who you think are squeaky clean. Kirk Ferentz swears. Watch his lips during a game. You're like, oh, I think he just dropped an F-bomb there. Soft. But I'm with you. I think
I think there's more to it.
There's got to be more.
Yeah.
There's got to be more. But see, that's what leaves you hanging, right? All you read is, oh my God, they're investigating a coach for using profanity. And then people like me go, you're soft. Then 8 months later, you find out, oh, they weren't soft.
Another example of how a headline can really mislead you and make you think like, again, black and white. It's wrong, it's right, it's good, it's bad. The world makes you want to choose right away, and our brains are getting conditioned to do that.
We are a headline society.
Shoot, we're out of time. Damn
Out
it.
of time.
All right.
Sorry, man.
That's
hey,
all
have
right.
a great weekend. I know I'm not going to see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
If you want to come early, I would feed you. You'd be the only one here.
If you don't, I'll call you in the morning. I'll call you when we get done here, okay? Because I think I want to do that.
All right. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. Had a great weekend, everybody. We're back Monday morning at 6 a.m.
Hey, everybody. Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Mini of Des Moines. We got some great things going on this month. Right now, you can lease a brand new Countryman for as low as $369 a month for 39 months. Also, we're running a 3.99% at up to 60 on all models, excluding the convertible. Also, you can lease a new two-door hardtop as low as $299 a month lease. If you have any other questions, come visit your favorite motoring advisor or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Spring is here. It's pothole season. Potholes can wreak havoc on your suspension and alignment. If you come into Willis Chevrolet during the month of May and mention this video, we'll check your alignment for free and give you $30 off if you need one. Give us a call or schedule online today at willischevy.com.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.